Hello, this is Ben Television News Roundup, a compilation of major stories in the weekend, and I'm Tunde Alabi. Thank you for being part of the program today. Prime Minister Theresa May has said the current parliament is faced with several challenges, including keeping the country safe from extremists, securing best possible Brexit deal, and spreading opportunities and prosperity to all parts of the United Kingdom. Mrs. May disclosed this at the opening of the Parliament Wednesday. Meanwhile, the Labour leader Jeremy Corbyn has criticized the Conservative Party of being anti-immigrant, anti-pensioner and anti-young people.
As we begin this new Parliament, it is clear that our country faces some of the greatest challenges of our time. The challenge of keeping our nation safe, including by defeating the perverted ideology of Islamist extremism. The challenge of securing the best possible Brexit deal and delivering the will of the British people in taking the United Kingdom out of the European Union. And the challenge of spreading opportunity and prosperity to every part of our United Kingdom, so that no one and no community is left behind. In meeting these challenges, what we have seen from the election is that there are parts of our country that remain divided between young and old, rich and poor, those for whom the future offers a sense of opportunity, and those for whom it brings worry and concern. Some people blame politics for these divisions, or say there is too much politics. But politics can be an incredible force for good. Conducted in the right way, it can be how we resolve our differences, how we deal with injustices, and how we take, not shirk, the big decisions. It's not always glamorous or exciting, but at its best, the duty we share as politicians to serve others in confronting these challenges is a truly noble calling for us all. And the test for all of us is whether we choose to reflect divisions or help the country overcome them. So let us choose in this Parliament to conduct ourselves in a manner fitting to this moment, to debate, to disagree, but in doing so we recognise we all want to see a Britain that is stronger, fairer and safe and secure for our children and grandchildren. And that our shared values, interests and ambitions can and must bring us together. As we face difficult challenges ahead, let us come together in a spirit of national unity to keep our country safe and build a stronger, fairer and more prosperous future for everyone in every part of our United Kingdom.
Mr. Speaker, thank you very much, and I follow the Prime Minister in the remarks she made about the importance of the work we all have to do in this Parliament, and I'll come back to that in a moment. But firstly, I want to congratulate the Honourable Member for Rushcliffe on becoming Father of the House. He seemed to me to be a very well-established MP when I entered the House 34 years ago. And I've never quite forgotten the image of the member for Rushcliffe in the tea room, wearing hush puppies, eating bacon sandwiches, drinking super-strength lager and carrying a cigar whilst taking a break from a debate on healthy living. And he's had a very long and distinguished career in this House, and punctuated this year by his speech in the Brexit debate, during which he lamented that his party opposite had become mildly anti-immigrant. How new a development that might be is open to debate, but I'm sorry to note that it's also, to put it generously, at best mildly anti-worker, anti-disabled people, anti-pensioner and anti-young person as well. I'm sorry to be so divisive here today. But it's all right, it's all right. Mr. Speaker, it is customary on these occasions to congratulate the returning Prime Minister, and I absolutely do so. And I congratulate her on returning, and I'm sure she will agree with me that democracy is a wondrous thing and can throw up some very unexpected results. And I'm sure we all look forward to welcoming the Queen's speech just as soon as the coalition of chaos has been negotiated. And, Mr. Speaker, I just let the House know and the rest of the nation know that if that's not possible, the Labour Party stands ready to offer strong and stable leadership in the national interest.
The Prime Minister Theresa May has also promised to put fairness and opportunities for all in the heart of the government's policies. She promised to ensure that no one and community is left behind.
I have just been to see Her Majesty the Queen, and I will now form a government that can provide certainty and lead Britain forward at this critical time for our country. This government will guide the country through the crucial Brexit talks that begin in just 10 days and deliver on the will of the British people by taking the United Kingdom out of the European Union. It will work to keep our nation safe and secure by delivering the change that I set out following the appalling attacks in Manchester and London, cracking down on the ideology of Islamist extremism and all those who support it, and giving the police and the authorities the powers they need to keep our country safe. The government I lead will put fairness and opportunity at the heart of everything we do, so that we will fulfil the promise of Brexit together and, over the next 5 years, build a country in which no one and no community is left behind. A country in which prosperity and opportunity are shared right across this United Kingdom. What the country needs more than ever is certainty. And having secured the largest number of votes and the greatest number of seats in the general election, it is clear that only the Conservative and Unionist Party has the legitimacy and ability to provide that certainty by commanding a majority in the House of Commons. As we do, we will continue to work with our friends and allies in the Democratic Unionist Party in particular. Our two parties have enjoyed a strong relationship over many years, and this gives me the confidence to believe that we will be able to work together in the interests of the whole United Kingdom. This will allow us to come together as a country and channel our energies towards a successful Brexit deal that works for everyone in this country, securing a new partnership with the EU which guarantees our long-term prosperity. That's what people voted for last June. That's what we will deliver. Now let's get to work.
Also, meanwhile, Jeremy Corbyn has said Prime Minister Theresa May, following the election result, no longer has a mandate to continue with the government austerity program.
Your vote for us was a vote for change, and a vote for our country, and a vote for hope. Theresa May called this general election in her party's interests, not in the interests of our country. She thought that with the backing of the billionaires and the corporate elite, she could take your vote for granted. But she underestimated the Labour Party, and more importantly, she underestimated you. Now, the Prime Minister has no authority, and the Conservatives have no mandate to privatise and cut our NHS, cut school funding, no mandate to cut a single police officer, and she certainly does not have a mandate to cut pensioners' winter fuel allowance or take free school meals away from a single child. Nor do they have a mandate for their race-to-the-bottom Brexit, instead of the jobs-first Brexit backed by Labour. While the Conservatives offer cuts and ran a campaign of fear, Labour is determined to invest in you and your family. We offer real hope. Under a Labour government, we will invest in our communities, our hospitals, our schools, our police and our emergency services. Labour has made gains in every region and nation of Britain. With your help, working together, unified behind a common purpose, we can win, and we will win, and we'll build a country that works for the many, not the few.
Still on the Labour Party, the surge in the political fortune of the Labour Party has continued after the general election. Labour Party's performance, which denied the Conservative Party of a majority in the Parliament, has been praised and described as a turning point in British politics, highlighting the divide between the old and the young voters.
You're listening to Totally Brighton. This is a new band called Never Mind Me. Ben Noble and James Fox work at a radio station in Brighton. Outside work, they are committed Labour Party activists. They're celebrating a big win. The beach community saw a 10% swing from Conservative to Labour in last week's election. Pollsters credit the youth vote for Labour's surge.
It's simply not true that the young vote are uninformed or ignorant. In fact, maybe we're more engaged than anyone else because we see news through Facebook and through Twitter.
Labour crushed its rivals on social media. Of the top 100 shared political news stories, just 5 were pro-Conservative. Many youth activists took inspiration from Bernie Sanders' 2016 presidential campaign in the United States, galvanising young, left-leaning voters.
I'd never been involved with an election campaign, and seeing the Bernie campaign, how that worked, I was like, I know I have to go, and if it's going to make it happen, that's the only way I'm going to be able to make it happen.
There's a sense of urgency as well, because we saw what happened in America, and a lot of us didn't like it.
Labour surged in university towns like Brighton, where students were attracted by the party's pledge to scrap annual $12,000 tuition fees. The election laid bare Britain's generational divide.
He just won them for the youngsters, what he's put on, what he's going to do for the youngsters, and where is the money going to come from?
That's it. He promised a lot, but where the money was going to come from.
Yeah.
I do feel sorry for the young, though. We certainly had it a lot better as we were growing up.
Polls indicate older voters are more concerned over immigration.
We're born and bred here, and I'm not racist, believe you me, I'm not racist. But we've got to look after our own. Good old England has gone, I'm afraid.
But Labour's young supporters see a brighter British future.
They've shown that there's a pathway to a Labour government.
Labour is still not in power, but the close result means another early election is possible, and the party's young supporters believe the momentum is with them.
The leader of the Liberal Democrats, Tim Farron, has resigned as the leader of the party. Mr. Farron, who led the Liberal Democrats to the June 8th general election, said his religious faith has made him a subject of suspicion in British politics.
Liberal to my fingertips, and that liberalism means that I am passionate about defending the rights and liberties of people who believe very different things to me. There are Christians in politics who take the view that they should impose the tenets of their faith on society, but I have not taken that approach because I fundamentally disagree with it. It is not liberal, and actually it's counterproductive when it comes to advancing the gospel. Even so, I seem to have been the subject of suspicion because of what I believe and who my faith is in which case we are kidding ourselves if we think we yet live in a tolerant, liberal society. And that's why I have chosen to step down as leader of the Liberal Democrats. I intend to serve until this parliamentary recess begins next month, at which point there will be a leadership election according to the party's rules. And this is a historic time in British politics. What happens next in the next months and years will shape our country for generations. My successor will inherit a party that is needed now more than ever before. Our future as an open, tolerant and united country is at stake. The cause of British liberalism has never been needed more. People who will fight for a Britain that is confident, generous and compassionate are needed more than ever before. That is the challenge our party and my successor faces, and the opportunity I am certain that they will rise to with my help. I want to say one more thing. You see, I joined our party when I was 16 years of age. It is in my blood. I love our history, our people, our values. I love my party. Imagine how proud I am to lead my party. And then imagine what would lead me to voluntarily relinquish that honour. In the words of Isaac Watts, it would have to be something so amazing, so divine. It demands my heart, my life, my all. Thank you.
Okay, we're down to the fire incident that happened in London. Firefighters, the police and other emergency services have continued a search and recover work at Grenfell Tower. The 24-story apartment building in West London was engulfed in massive fire Wednesday that totally razed it. The Prime Minister, police and eyewitnesses have been talking since the incident.
They need to ring 999. There is a dedicated line for this incident, okay?
I never see a fire like that before. This is my first time, and also it's really horrible and scary. I was crying actually when I saw the fire. I want to help, but how can I help?
Okay.
I heard some people said help from the 20 floors, 19th. They are flashing the lights, and now they stop. I don't know what happened to them, if they're safe or not. It was really horrible fire I never see in my life.
The scene of this terrible fire this morning, I wanted a briefing from the emergency services. They've been working tirelessly in horrific conditions, and I've been overwhelmed by their professionalism and their bravery. I heard stories of firefighters running into the building, being protected from the falling debris by police officers using their riot shields, and we thank them, all our emergency services, for the incredible work that they have done. I've also learnt that now the number of confirmed dead is 17, but it is expected to rise further. We know there are 37 people being treated across several hospitals in London, 17 of whom are receiving critical care. At times like this, the response of the community has been extraordinary, and it has shown the great spirit of people in responding to a tragedy such as this. I've ordered that the cross-government group that is meeting to ensure that the response is properly coordinated will meet again today. They'll meet this afternoon, and the government stands ready to provide every assistance necessary to the emergency services and to the local authority. I know we've all heard absolutely heartbreaking, as I did this morning, heartbreaking stories of the people who were caught up in this terrible, terrible tragedy. And I want to reassure the residents of Grenfell Tower, all of whom are in our thoughts and prayers at the moment. I want to reassure them that the government will make every effort to ensure that they're rehoused in London and as close as possible to home. But right now, people want answers, and it's absolutely right. And that's why I am today ordering a full public inquiry into this disaster. We need to know what happened. We need to have an explanation of this. We owe that to the families, to the people who have lost loved ones, friends, and the homes in which they lived.
I know the thoughts of all of us are with those who have been so deeply affected from the events over the last 24 hours. Yesterday was a very difficult day. Clearly it was challenging overnight, particularly for colleagues from fire. And today, as you've heard, the work really starts in earnest to ensure that we do the appropriate recovery of everybody from those premises. Sadly, I can confirm that the number of people that have died is now 17. We do believe that that number will sadly increase. And from our colleagues within the health service, there are still a number of people who are receiving treatment in hospital. There are 37 people receiving treatment, of which 17 are still in critical care. Like we explained yesterday, our absolute priority for all of us is about identifying and locating those people that are still missing. It'd be wrong for me to get into numbers that I do not believe are accurate. Our Casualty Bureau number is 0800 0961 233. And if you have reported somebody missing and you now know that they're safe and well, please contact that number so we can identify those that we're still trying to find. My heart goes out to those families that are still trying to find their loved ones. Rest assured, please get in contact with us as the police, and Casualty Bureau and our specialist trained officers will be in touch with you to support you through this. It is going to take a considerable period of time, as we've heard, so we can make the building structurally safe, so we can do our job, do our investigation. We have a large team of specialist detectives who are already investigating this, and our senior detective is Detective Chief Inspector Matt Bonner. He and I will be meeting with colleagues from the Health and Safety Executive later on today to agree how we'll progress the investigation from here on in. But I reiterate again, it is going to be a long and lengthy process.
It was very fast, very quick. Cannot imagine that, so fast.
I looked down, it was literally fire just from the left side. I couldn't even see it, but every minute it was getting worse and worse. It was like going around the building fully, like as a circle, and now it's so bad. People still in their buildings. After an hour or two, I see them helpless.
What floor are you on? Huh? Seven, yeah?
And I said to her, they're coming for you, they're coming to get you. I don't know if they did.
Comes in waves. It's the people screaming. That's the worst thing, because we heard them screaming out.
People on the ground were calling out to them, asking them what floor they were on.
Exactly. There were still people on the 10th and 11th floors, and where they were actually using the fire hoses. And you saw people waving from their windows, and a woman was screaming that she had her child there, but there was nothing anyone could do. We are on the ground, just not knowing what you can do about it.
I've got my friend there already. She's out, but her brother and wife and children still there. We don't know if they're safe or not.
The one image which sticks in my mind was seeing a family waving what appeared to be a towel for around an hour, and there was a helicopter coming about 400 meters from their window and then turning around. And for me, the thing that I took from this was how agonizing must that have been for that family when they were, we watched them stop moving from the street.
This was one of my main concerns about living in the tower block. On Saturday we did have the fire brigade team come around and speak to people in their houses.
Check alarms to make sure they're working.
Just this Saturday?
Just this Saturday.
Seriously?
Yes.
Yeah. And they told us the protocol was to close your door because the fire door will withstand the heat for a duration of time. But I think what's happened is they're not understanding that this fire has spread all around the building, so that is wrong information for that building and the material in that building, because if you're staying in your house, you could still be trapped.
So if you'd stayed?
Yeah. If I listened to the advice given to me by the fire brigade and also by the TMO management team, we could be dead.
You got family who were on the 18th floor?
Yeah.
And you spoke to them last night?
Yeah.
And they were saying what?
Smoke. It can't get out because of smoke. So I suspect, I don't know what I would if I was him, he just stayed in the room, hoping that the fire brigade would get up there.
Because that's what they're told to do, isn't it? They're told to stay in the plane.
Yeah. So we would have stayed in there, waited and followed the instructions. There's nothing else you can do from the 18th floor, because we can't fly.
It's been like another older brother. He's always made sure I'm not in trouble. He's always looking after me.
And what's the latest on him?
Apparently it's been confirmed he's passed, and it's just over the chemicals from the building in the hospital. I just don't know what to think, man.
The minute that building just went up so fast. How? Why? It's a lot of questions to be asked.
With that, we conclude the news roundup for this week. Thank you for being part of the program. I'm Today Alabi. Enjoy the rest of your week. Bye. As part of our continued efforts to reach the African and other ethnic communities in the United Kingdom with greater impacts and create the platform to hear your silent and unheard views in this hugely growing community in the United Kingdom, our channel, Ben TV, presents to you another live current affairs television program. Our focus on the program is to review and discuss issues around the diaspora community in the UK. The program offers you that unrestricted voice on issues affecting you in the UK. Join us live every Monday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon. Another business segment of Dialogue in Diaspora, 2 to 3 p.m. every Monday. But guess what? You can be part of the program. Just send us an email at bentelevisionuk@gmail.com. Dialogue in Diaspora, your voice, your opinion on our TV.